This is a video update for the Fetiche des Rouges Syndicate. Well everyone, mission complete. Me and Radish are officially a 4-star combination. The last 2 days we took Radish to sort of Atlanta, Georgia, to the Bucat farm, otherwise known as Chattahoochee, to contest the first 4-star of the year. And I have to say I'm hugely relieved. I was a little bit nervous that we were biting off more than we can chew. Obviously Radish did an advanced horse trial last year at Tryon, but that was a long time ago. That was in September, and then a couple of weeks ago he ran around a very easy open prelim at Pine Top in Georgia as well, and he felt a little bit all over the shop at the prelim, and I was up all night worrying that I might have not prepared him well enough, but the Flying Frenchman has delivered. This is the dressage test, which was on Friday morning. We arrived at the show on Thursday morning. I gave Radish sort of 2 rides, one sort of easy ride, just a bit of a hack around and a show of the arenas, and then in the afternoon I gave him a proper dressage ride. This is his first flying change, and he nailed it. Radish has great flying changes, and the flying changes wouldn't be my strength, so you get what you pay for. Radish is a flying change machine. So obviously the main goal of this weekend was just to get through this competition unscathed. This is a huge step in Radish's career. This sort of qualifies us for the 4-star long. Hopefully we'll be aiming towards Bromont, which is in June. So we've ticked that box. This is his second flying change, and again, nice clean change. Could have been a little bit rounder. We'd been sort of preparing well. I had Brett Parbury stay with me for a week. Brett's a World Equestrian Games, 2 times World Equestrian Games dressage rider. I've known him forever from Australia. He was also the dressage coach of the Australian eventing team at London Olympics, and it was good actually having Brett in town. I also have got to say, having Peter Wild help me has been huge as well. Radish he's a fantastic jumper, but he's a tricky horse to jump. He sort of throws his head around and he gets nervous and runs at the jump, and having Peter school the horse, train me, and he's actually competed the horse for me in Ocala earlier this year has been a huge help. This event sort of marks the last of our winter tour. We've been training and living in Aiken, South Carolina since sort of the middle of January, and we've spent the most of January and February working on improving the horses and getting them fit, really. Radish has gently sort of increased his fitness work. He's up to sort of doing a slow gallop for 4 miles, basically about once every 5 or 6 days, and he does it easy. He's a great galloper. By saying that, I haven't done any fast work or hill work on him, and he's just done one easy prelim. So the cross country, which you'll see at the end of this video, I just coasted around. I didn't worry about our time penalties. So Radish will actually drive back to Pennsylvania on Sunday tomorrow with Steph, and be back at the farm sort of resting. I think I'll give him a pretty easy week in the next week. He's sort of worked hard. This was a challenging competition for him, and he's young actually. I had dinner with Fernanda Kellogg the other day, and she said a smart thing. The horse is 10 years old, but he's a young 10. When I say young, he's still getting stronger. Mentally he feels like a 6-year-old, and his body's still a little weak, and I think it's important just to know when to back off the horse here and there. So anyway, I was pleased with this dressage. We got a 65% from one judge, 68% from another judge. The judge on the side liked this halt at the end. She gave me an 8.5 for this halt, which was nice of her. And we were placed 7th out of about 25 horses. The show jumping was a bit dodgy. He warmed up fantastic. One thing with Radish is once he gets in the ring, he really changes. And we jumped the first jump well, and right turns are a little bit jinxy side. So as he turns right, he loves to charge at the jump and put his head in the air. I sent the video through to Peter, who was very pleased with the way the horse jumped, but I've got to remember that when he gets in that ring, he really fires himself up. And I think knowing what I know now, I've got to maybe not use spurs at the next competition, because he just got a little fast and keen. Then we had that rail down that was just him charging at the jump to a very, very tall square oxer. I felt like Radish really noticed that the jumps were a lot bigger. It was sort of about a metre 30, metre 25, metre 30, and you could sort of feel it in the horse. He was like, oh baby, this is bigger than what I'm used to. The great thing with this horse is he is a really good jumper. He's careful, he's nippy, he's quick-footed, he's also a bit crazy. Crazy's good though, especially at the top of the sport, and we want a horse that's enthusiastic, and he really kicks his hind end up. So I was pleased with that. I got to admit, this was a very, very challenging cross country for us. It rained. There was a typhoon the night before, so the ground was quite wet and holding, and on top of that, it was a real deal 4-star course. This is about fence 7 or 8, so we'd already done a water jump and a sunken road by then. About now, I felt like Radish was starting to settle in. At the beginning, the first water jump, it was a massive jump into water, and he really sort of clunked down. It was just, I think it scared him a little bit. He's like, holy hell, this is 3 times bigger than what I'm used to. This next fence, he was very, very good to me here. This was a true 5-star line. It was a bending 7 to a double of left corners, and the turn was to the right, which is a dodgy side, and it's going to be hard to appreciate how hard Radish tried here, but he jumped this fence and we made the turn, and his head was in the air and he was running wild and knocked over the flag, and champion horse. He gritted his teeth and found his way through the second corner, and he did anything and everything in his power to get through the flags there. A normal horse would have easily run out there, so I was very, very pleased that Radish was really on my side. Obviously, the biggest thing I've got to do is keep training the rideability on the horse. He's very brave, and he's just wild between the jump, and we've got to just keep training sort of the turns, especially at this level. It's really big jump to a sharp turn to a narrow fence or a corner, and he's green too. Like at the beginning here, he sort of is a little bit overwhelmed of what's going on, and as time goes on, they'll get better and better. My other 2 rides in the 4-star was Commando 3 and Coolie Nutcracker, that have been at this level for a few years now, and they all start off a little bit like this, where they're a little bit all over the place, and then as time goes on, they get more and more sort of seasoned at the level, and sort of knowing that as they jump a big jump in a 3 or 4 strides, they've got to make a sharp turn to a very skinny narrow or a corner or anything like that. So but the best thing about this horse is he's got grit and determination, and it's very hard to appreciate how challenging this course is just on this iPhone video. Anyway, I felt like he pulled up well. As I said, I didn't go too fast on him. My biggest thing was that he that he sort of qualified and got around well, and the ground was very sort of holding and muddy, and none of the horses actually went quick on the course, so we had a boatload of time penalties, but the biggest thing is that he jumped all these jumps really, really well. So I think we'll get him back to Pennsylvania. I'll give him a bit of a cruisy week next week and just make sure that he sort of freshens up, and then I think our next competition's likely to be the Fairhill Advanced Horse Trial. So it will be another course at this height. I'm hoping not quite as hard as this, and then that's actually the beginning of April. So we've got 4 weeks here where I can sort of just gently work away and make sure that Radish is nice and confident. I'm going to just gently increase his fitness work and keep an eye on his soundness. But he seems very healthy at the moment. But again, muddy ground, big jumps, and a 4-star course. It gets tough. It gets challenging on the horses. And then, with our training, I think my best bet is to make it a little bit easy in the jumping department for the next 2 jump schools. Like try and make it smaller fences and more work on his turning and make sure that he's nice and calm and happy, and then we'll build him up towards the advanced horse trials there in a month's time, which will be it'll be a real track. And but the great thing is it's not going to get too much harder than this. This was a true 4-star, deep ground, everything you can think of, 2 water jumps, corners, narrows, bending lines, doubler corners, 2 coffins. And Radish got through the whole lot. So I'm very, very relieved / pleased with him. He's a great horse, and I appreciate you guys all backing him. It's taken a while to get him here, but now we're at the top of the sport, and it's time to get him consolidated. And I truly think he's going to be a true 5-star champion. He's just got that thing about him. I'm not sure what that thing it is, but it's great.